Hello, hello from the most gorgeous spring day here in northern Scotland. The skies are blue, the swallows are here. I've seen 2 swallows. Looking a little shell-shocked, I have to say, wondering if anyone has access to the thermostat. And I saw a cowslip in the grass, which was very exciting. So yes, it's all go here, isn't it? And I hope it's turning into spring where you are as well, or at least some sort of clement season. We have got a celebratory set of things today because today is the 40th live stream. Can you believe it? I was trying to think, have I actually skipped a few weeks and I've just ratcheted up the numbers anyway? I think it's the other way around. I think we've been going for a longer period of time than 40 weeks, but this is the 40th episode in our long-running series of things that are happening in consonance. So thank you for following along. If you have been following along for 40 weeks, welcome if this is your first. And on with the show. It's, as I say, a celebratory week this week because it's all new things. Everything we're going to look at today only went live, I think, yesterday afternoon. So it should be a fun look at some new ways to make your publishing go as smoothly as possible in these times. So what's on the cards? Same stuff. We're going to look at the things what have changed and that are new and improved. We're going to look at ways to help you reach further with your metadata and your influence. We're going to look at some areas where we can all get better at and more expert. We're going to go into depth and we're going to do it all at speed. So let's have a look. I may not have kept things in that order because today, if you've just come from the previous couple of YouTubes binge watching the thrills that are the consonance live stream, then you'll have been eagerly anticipating the shipping of the prototype. And the prototype we're talking about is a Kanban project management board. The idea was gifted to us by an extremely treasured client at the London Book Fair. So that was, what was that, like a month ago? So that's pretty good, isn't it? To ship something that's fully tested. I have to say we were building on the shoulders of giants though, because it's a fairly cosmetic change, but it's amazing what a few tweaks can do to make features ever more useful and presentable. So well done people meeting at the London Book Fair with us to, have this wonderful discussion about consonance is amazing and here's the next way that it can be even more amazing. So let's have a look. So here it is. This is, if you do project management, then you know where we're going with this, don't you? The official term for it is Kanban. I think that's from the Toyota Corporation from the 70s. They invented this idea that you would have columns up on your whiteboard and index cards, and you would move the index cards from one column to another as they progressed through the project. And over time, various pieces of software have taken that idea and run with it. If you use Trello, then you will recognise this as the way that they organise cards into columns. If you use monday.com, then this is one of the ways that you can see your data in there. So this is us offering you the opportunity to not have to go over to other secondary project management systems. Here we are looking at your data in your system in the same layout, in the same format. This is, I know I've said we've shipped the prototype. As ever, this is the first stage. One of the things I'm really hoping we can pull off is to make this sort of view into a display on searches. So imagine if you did a Data Studio search for, whatever, all of the products within a particular pub date range. And then you wanted to see them in the project stage format like this. Well, that would be super powerful, I think. What about right steel stages? What about to-do stages, you know, not yet done, done, or in progress, done, archived, that sort of thing. So as ever, look at this and think this is fantastic. I mean, you can think what you like, but if you think this is fantastic, and only if only we could use it in such and such a scenario, that's likely on the cards as well. So let's just take a little scamper around what we have right now. What you're looking at is a thing called a pipeline. To get to it in your account, go to the main menu, and it's under project management. And we've talked about all of the ways that you can use this sort of menu. So whittle it down, bookmark it, do what you will, but you get to pipelines. And so you'll have a list of pipelines, and perhaps when you get to this page, there'll be nothing here because you haven't yet had cause to dibble in this area. But go there, add a pipeline. I've just got this one set up at the moment. And you can call it something reasonable. You can call it your acquisition pipeline or your whatever the name of the project is. It's very freeform. So give it a name there. And then it's also freeform in the sense of what do you want to call the stages. So later on, as I say, we might make this a bit more strict in certain areas. You might see here your work project stages, but when you're going to a pipeline here, this is like the loosey-goosey, do whatever you want implementation of this so far. So I can call these things whatever I want. You know, we've got one at the end here which isn't very well named, so let's call this archived or something. And so that's, you know, you can update the name of the column there. Then you can add cards to these columns. Let's click on add a card. Well, let's edit this card here to see the sorts of things we can do. So there's an option here about this card. Let's edit it, and we can give it a name if we want or not. We can give it a work or not if we want. It can be, again, really malleable. It doesn't have to have a work attached to it. It doesn't have to have a contact attached to it. It doesn't have to have anything really. So, you know, things can come here when you are maybe at the really early acquisition stage, or cards can come here and you can just use the contact. If you're, I don't know, thinking of some sort of flow of a competition that you're trying to judge or something, you know, entered, under consideration, rejected, approved, that sort of thing. And the works that you see here, these are your works. So as ever within the system, you can choose a heist one. Let's choose the heightening and save that. And you'll notice actually on this about the card bit here that we've got sort of an audit trail of the stages that the card has been through. So at the moment this changed, this just got moved to post publication, which is where it's in at the moment. If we move that to the next column along, let's say, and then look at about this card, we'll see that, press the wrong button, we'll see that the audit trail has caught up. So if it's important to you that you see what the progress has been, then that can be quite helpful as well. And that was a direct client request, so thank you so much for that, for thinking ahead. Any more ideas welcome, and you can see we've sort of left a little bit of room here just in case there's anything that we want to add in the future. What else have we got? You can see that there's some numbers here, and these numbers, if I hover over them, oh, that doesn't go big, it says there's 54 out of 54 to-dos that have been done and none are overdue. And so you get this sort of at a glance check of what's off your plate, what's sort of sorted out there, and when everything is done, it'll say, you know, number of to-dos done over number of to-dos total, and then there'll be a green tick if everything is done. So again, this is really kind of overview land, isn't it? The count at the end here, that's discussions. If I hover over that, it says 0 discussion comments. And then we've got colourful blobs. Let's have a look at some of the colourful blobs. we've got a colourful blob here that says 42 overdue. So that means that 42 of the to-dos are overdue, troubling. And then we've got the people and roles, well, contacts and roles and users who are assigned to these open to-dos. So this is all, again, kind of at a glance stuff. We've got roles as well. And if anything sort of strikes your fancy, and if you think, what is even going on there? Why is 6 overdue? Then this is what I really like about this feature. We can now offer this sort of drill down, but without leaving the page. So if I click on this bit of this card here, then what's going to pop up is a really useful overview summary of all of the things that we're talking about here. So, and if I just press the escape button, you can see it's a pop-up. We've made it huge because there's going to be a lot of data and you need to be able to see it all. In fact, we've made it appropriate for the amount of space. So that's quite a big one, but it doesn't need quite so much space. That one's a little bit smaller. So, you will see the data that you need to see. And when there's a lot of it, it's going to fill quite a lot of the screen. Just see what you're seeing actually on preview. Yeah. You can see just around the edges, there's a little bit of space, but we're sort of hoping that you can have this not just as a little pokey modal pop-up in the middle of the page, but for all intents and purposes, a page that is big enough for you to do something with. But as I say, if you press escape or one of these buttons here, you are going to be able to go to the next card and see what's what. So again, let's have a look to see, where's my discussions one? Yeah, this one. So from the top, we've got some of these cards, and these cards are repurposed from other parts of the system. So you will have seen these information cards on the work overview page. One version of the truth. This is not like new data. This is giving you insight to the data that exists from wherever you need to see it within the system. So on Cats Throughout History, we have 2 briefings, we have 2 discussions, 54 to-dos. These are some records that it appears in. Here's a bit of a to-do analysis, and we can see that there's some red and triangles appearing on the page to say that some of these to-dos are overdue. Then we've got some roles. Again, this information, I think exactly this or something like this, might be on seasonal insights. So that's useful to know that on Cats Throughout History, the following roles have been set up and they have been allocated to these individuals. Then we have a list of discussions and the content and the comments on them. And it's quite nice that these are all copyable to the clipboard as well. So scrolling down, you can see the comments that have been made on this discussion. And then if there's multiple discussions, that's fine as well. And then we have the to-dos listed. And I mean, at the risk of disappearing into the land of portals, I mentioned that we're in a pop-up here. Well, these are editable as well. So you don't even have to go over to the to-dos area to actually make a change. So, hopefully what this is doing is Consonance is getting out of the way so that you can get to the data that you need to get to in the moment, and get on with your busy lives. I am going to just, where's that one? Is that one small? Have we got a small one there? Not small enough. Is this one small? No. Is this one small? That's not bad. Right, I just wanted to show you that when you change data in this modal here, I want you to watch. Let me make it big. I want you to watch because the card itself will update as well. So at no point should you have to, do that thing of simply refresh the page in order to see the latest information. So if I check one of these to-dos off, I want you to watch this number incrementing here. So that's gone up to 25, down to 24, 23, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that, again, let's just get out of the way so that you can trust that what you're seeing on the page is the thing that makes the most sense. What else do I want to say? I want to say that you can set these things up quite quickly. And I would be really interested to hear, like next steps on these things. Anything to do with templates. do have a go, and then say, you know, maybe templating would be helpful. I'd love to see it on the search, that sort of thing, because that's the direction we're going in. So it'd be really, really fruitful to hear that now. Yeah, so super well done, team, for a brilliant underlying job of making these things, you know, really very, very quick to develop, because there's a lot of tests in the system for this area, fundamental behaviour already all baked in. So really nice to be quite spry and to be able to respond to emerging requirements. If you are thinking, but I've got all of my stuff in Trello or something, how am I going to get it in? Well, definitely raise a ticket, be in touch with us. We can do one-off migrations of your data there to the data here. If there's, I don't know, just be in touch, let us know. But I think that the really compelling thing about this is that you don't have to go to another system. You don't have to migrate your data, have 2 versions of the truth or more. You know, you get to see everything in one place, and it's all very get-atable. So yeah, pretty chuffed with this. And just as a bit of a nerdy aside, these modals that pop up here, these are really straightforward to program these days, because it's the actual browsers that are implementing better and better functionality. Opening that dialog box there, that is baked into the behaviour of, I'm in Firefox here, or in Chrome or in Safari. And back in the day, you'd have to write pages of JavaScript, pages of clever tested code to make sure that when the user hits the escape button, it disappears and doesn't lose state and all this sort of thing. And now it's baked into the browser. So what a fantastic time to be a web developer, when the W3C and all of the people have been so hardworking, bringing fantastic improvements to the actual browser application itself. Many thanks. You make our lives a lot easier, and you make our customers get features quicker. So everyone's a winner. So yes, ship the prototype. As I say, very much keen on hearing your steps for yes, that's great, but what about next? That's what we're here for. Speaking of what's next, expertise. So the nature of security is that I don't necessarily want to blather about it on the internet too much. But we've done an exciting security improvement announcement this week. No action necessary. It's not a bad thing. But I do want to make sure that Constance users have checked their notifications to see what improvements we are making in the security arena. It's mainly driven because every year Consonance, the company, General Products, the company, recertifies against this really good standard called Cyber Assurance. It's a UK government-backed certification. There's nothing fancy about it. It's one of these very, very, very long checklists of are you doing this? Are you doing that? And none of the questions in themselves are particularly difficult to understand or difficult to achieve. But it's such a great annual event to go through this checklist and to just make sure that nothing has slipped from one's mind, you know, that all of the things that we can be doing to make data and infrastructure as secure as possible are indeed being done. So this is one of the many outcomes from our annual certification renewal. So check your emails and let us know if you have any thoughts about what's in them. Very cool. Great. So the next feature coming up, that again we only shipped last night, I'm going to say, is seeing to-dos in a calendar view. And we've already had some really delightful feedback from the clients who, actually not the clients who came to it and said that this would be a really good idea, but some clients who we mentioned it to and said it would be a really good idea. So it's really nice to develop things that we know there's utility in. And sure enough, those kind clients have this morning said, this is fantastic. Now can we do this, this and this in it? So as ever, always scope for progress and iterating and all of that. But let's have a look to see what I'm talking about. So going to Data Studio here. Now us on the live stream, of course, we are very practiced at coming to this page, aren't we? But we have now turned on the Data Studio feature for every client. I think I'm right in thinking that. Every user of every client. So everyone who clicks on that compelling triangle at the top is going to come to a page like this. And if that's happened for you this week and this is all new, then we've got some good live streams going back through time that introduce this page. But very, very briefly, it's a fast access page to features that already exist in other parts of the system that you would access through the menu. So, you're looking at a dashboard really here, aren't you? And a couple of extra things, like you can generate a new search right from here. We surface unsaved searches now. So previously, if you created a kind of a transient search and didn't save it, but then a couple of days later thought, could have done with that one that I set up the other day. Well, you get a second go. You can resurrect them from this bit over here. So that's quite good fun. And never forgetting the library of examples. As we've said previously, the library of examples is kind of driven by the great requests that come into the help desk. People say, is there any way to set up a search so that I can do I really want to see all of my works which don't have any ebooks on them or any audiobooks. I really want to see all of my upcoming Kindles for the next 3 months, but the ones that don't have a cover image yet, so I know what to tackle. And so every time we get a corker like that, we're building it into this library of examples so everyone can benefit from. I mean, all of publishing is niche, isn't it? All of the queries that we have, the processes that we do, they're all hyper specific, and yet we all do the same thing. So we're sharing the ability to do all sorts of weird and wonderful things through our library of examples. But today what we're doing is having a look at our new display, aren't we? And that's seeing to-dos in a calendar format. So I'll set up a new search by I'll just set up a new search that just lists products to start with. It's going to have no filters. So there's no filters, and we've got quite a few, what do you call them, products there. And the display, the outcome of this search is the products list. So, over here you have filters. So that tells you what, struggling to find words, but they're right there on the page, aren't they? What filters you're applying to your data. And then the products list is, okay, here are the products that satisfy those filters. And as you know by now, if you press switch to, then you see all of the different ways that you can see the results of your search through a number of different lenses. So we've got products list highlighted at the moment. We can toggle over to see the prices that satisfy these conditions. We can toggle over to, I've chosen a silly one, haven't I? Because it's like 1,000 different things. We've got the lightning source sidecar list, where we can see all of the data that satisfies these conditions, but in the lightning source sidecar format, in all of its incredible glory. And so on and so forth. But the one that we're looking at today are these new displays: to-dos calendar by month, to-dos calendar by week, and to-dos calendar by day. Now you see I'm already ahead of myself, and I've starred these. You can find them down here in the lists area, to-do calendar by day, week, month. You can see I've starred them. And if you type to filter, you can see that to-do is going to get filtered, and you're going to be able to find them that way. So let's have a look. Let's start at the month level, because that makes the most sense, doesn't it? So I click on that. So I haven't changed the filter the filters on this search, but what I am now seeing is a count of the to-dos that satisfy these conditions. So really, at this point, it's everything, isn't it? It's all of the to-dos, but they're laid out by date. So here's 2022s, here's 2023s, here's 2024. You know how a calendar works. I don't need to point this out. And then if I click on one of these very compelling little droplets of number, then I'm going to be able to drill down into the next layer. But slightly contrived. That's next on the list, to-dos drill down. So I won't click on that just yet. Let's switch to the other type of calendar. Let's look at to-dos calendar by week. Click on that. Remember, I haven't changed the filters. This is the same data. But now we are seeing the weeks all laid out from week 1 to week 52 for the different years. And it's very nice to see the layout of this page. I've got some very clever people who work on our team who have made this wrap so appealingly, so that you can see at a glance, you can get to the data and importantly see where the patterns are. And we've got some additional ways coming down the line for ways to see the data, but we'll save that for another day. Got to have some content for the future, haven't we? And then the final display today is the to-dos calendar by day. So we click on that, and here now we are looking at a daily calendar, and we've got 2022 here. Not much going on then, except it kicks off in May and June. If I keep scrolling down, I'll get to 2023. If I keep scrolling down, I'll get to 2024. So, you can flip backwards and forwards on these. They're sort of interchangeable. As I say, we've not changed any of the filters of the search. So, consider that like step 1 and step 2. If I only want to see the to-dos for all of my ebooks, then I'm going to add a filter to say product form is DG, the digital product form. So, it's really malleable to be able, but you have to in your head think, wait, so there's like a relationship between pub date and to-dos, or what's in the title and rights deals. Or I can go the other way and say, show me all of the to-dos where there's nobody assigned, and now show me the product list. Everything is connected. It's like that movie. So, it is definitely a bit of a brain doodle, but once you know that the fact that all of your data is in a database and it's all linked up, and we give you access to that, once you've become comfortable with that idea, it's quite moorish. So let's now go back to the monthly view, and let's increment our PowerPoint slide as well, so that we're now looking at the drill down benefit here. So we've looked at the counts of to-dos, haven't we, in the calendar? But now we're kind of going to drill down to see, well, it's all very well saying I've got 10 to-dos in April 2023, but which ones are they? And so the way that you do that is you click on it, and we've got one of these extremely beautiful browser assisted modals here, where we can see the 10 to-dos and the work that they're assigned on, and so on and so forth. So that's how we're able to dot around. What was going on in August? Ah, yes. And then you can dive in. These are all links, so you can click through to the to-do area of that work, or the how the internet works. So that works for at the month level. It works at the week level. So let's find a chunky number. Let's look at week 18 in 2023. 21 to-dos happened, and that's what they look like. Press escape to get rid of that. And then let's look at to-dos calendar by day. And let's find a day where something happened, where a lot of things happened. And there's a tenner. So May, the Sunday here, bunch of stuff happened. So yes, so very much hope that you enjoy sort of seeing your data in your same data in a new format. And while we're here, you know, there's plenty of other ways to see that same data emerging. Here's the to-do list. So if you think, well, yes, calendar's fine, that's given me a visualization, but now let me see, you know, this in list form such that I can copy it to the clipboard as well. Fine. So yeah, so that's really nice. Another one is the discussions, actually, because I know we were looking earlier at the pipelines and the cards, but we did see to-dos in that, and we saw discussions in that pop-up dialog box as well. And if you want to see, you know, the discussions laid out, then you get to see those as well. So, you know, it's, again, I really like the idea of forgetting that you have to make consonants work. It's really pleasing, the feeling that whatever your brain is sort of prompting you to do, like, oh, look, there's 10 to-dos that are overdue. You shouldn't have to look around and think, how the hell do I see what those are? You know, if it's a link, you click on it, satisfies the query, you might drill down even more. It might give you an idea for the next thing to do. But if, you know, I don't want it so that you are having to battle with the tools that are meant to help you. So I hope that you feel that this is commensurate with that lofty ideal. Excellent. And so another new feature that we're going to talk about today. Oh, it really is breakneck speeds. It's absolutely wonderful. Products to batch. Now, this was a user request from the help desk. Someone said that they have gone to the work overview page for their particular work, and they can see that they can add the work to a batch. Oh, stop messing around, Emma. Add the work to a batch from the batches bit here. There's the add to batch. And that's all very useful and everything for 99% of the cases, but sometimes they want to add only one of the products on the work. So if they've got a batch of hardbacks that they're submitting to a literary prize, it's not really very useful if they put all of their ebooks on that list as well. So in that instance, you might want to only add one of your products to a batch. And so here's a new button on the work overview page for any work. It says add to batch. I click on it and it takes us to Data Studio, which is going to enable us to add that to whichever batch you fancy. So let's say, okay, cats. This is going to be added to the extremely well named batch called cats. And I can click, I can search for all of the different ones that I've got there. And then I'm going to add one product to the batch. And then that's going to add it for me. And I'm just wondering the extent to which I should talk about what a batch is, because, you know, we've got, there we go. So that's added to that batch. If I click on cats, I'm going to expect to see Cats Ahoy in it now. So let that load up. I think it's quite a big batch. So batches are a way to kind of, too many to display. 5,000 products, fine. And then we could go back to Data Studio to search by batch and then see on the products list all of the products that are included. I chose a really bad one there. Let's do that again. Batches are a way to collect products together in a really ad hoc way. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you do a search here, it's based on data, but sometimes we want to collect things together in a way that is not based on data. They just need to belong together because they're in the front list section of the catalogue, or they've all got pink covers and there's no data that you've got that says that they've all got pink covers. So batches are a really nice way to, sort of group stuff together, just because you want to, and then give it a name so that you don't have to keep doing it again and again. So there's Cats Ahoy in our batch there, and we could have, if we wanted to add all of the products of that work, then we would have used the other button that's existed there for a long time. So there we go. And that is all of the things that we've done this week, which I think is plenty, quite frankly. So where are we? We've gone through our whole agenda. What are we doing? Next week is a normalish week. And then on the Saturday, I'm lucky enough to be talking at the Society of Young Publishers Conference in Edinburgh. So if you happen to be in the market for a very interesting conference programme, then hop along. And if you happen to be in the Edinburgh region, then even more so. Reach out if you need more information about what's going on. But it's going to be a very people-centred conference, which I think is inspiring and needed. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, in the meantime, let's see how many of your great ideas we can take on board. So all of the things we've looked at today are in your account now. If seeing Data Studio is kind of new to you, then that's maybe something that you might want to have a poke around in, have a look at some of the live streams where we've been talking about it. All of the live streams are kind of indexed, so if you need to see at a glance what we've talked about in any one week, then hopefully the little timestamps that I put on the videos afterwards will give you some sort of clue as to what we're talking about. Always open to requests for things to cover on these live stream sessions. I do consider them to be your opportunity to have a weekly training session. Today we've done a lot of new features, but oftentimes we will be responding to whatever's going on in the market currently to dive into aspects of constants that are most useful in the moment. You know, when we are interested in talking about open access, then we dive into that. When EPUB accessibility legislation comes in, we dive into that. So there's no hard and fast rules on what we're going to cover. Means that definitely, you know, drop us a line if you want kind of free, tailored, ongoing, continuing professional development, high quality content beamed to you from this gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world, which you don't get to see. I get to see it out that window. You just see the reflected light. Sorry about that. We'll have to have one big party one day, won't we? Everyone come up to ours. Anyway, right. Have a really super weekend in the meantime. And yeah, see you this time next week. Like and subscribe. Thanks a million. See you later.